a video about Harrison Ashby probably about 2 years ago on this channel. You can, if you so wish, you can go back and search it. It's in there somewhere. I was very impressed by what I saw straight away, and I thought, here's one to keep an eye on. And I think that sort of creates a little bit of expectation in your own mind. So every time I've seen him from then onwards, be it for the under-23s, the times when he's appeared, albeit fleetingly, for the first team, I've always, kept an eye out for him, pre-season friendlies, that sort of thing. And I always expect him to be good. You know what? He always is. I think, in many respects, he is the standout young player in the academy. Now, I am obviously mindful that I was doing a video a couple of weeks ago where I said that I called Sonny Perkins the best young player in the academy. But if you remember, it was Tony Carr that said that, and of course, Kevin Keane. Who am I to argue with those two? But the player that's impressed me most recently over the last couple of years has certainly been Harrison Ashby. Now, this is important for me to mitigate what I'm about to say with giving you the context of that. I've not just watched a pre-season friendly and thought, oh, this kid's really good. I've had my eye on him for a couple of years now, and I've not changed my mind at all. If anything, I've further cemented the view that this is, I was going to say a kid with real promise, but I think it's more than that. I think he's ready. And when I say ready, let me get this right. I don't mean ready to play 38 Premier League games. No, I don't. But I believe he's ready to be trusted more than, whatever, the last game in the group stage of the Conference League when the group's already won or something like that. I think he is ready to firstly be a substitute on the bench, but also get used as well. The way I look at it is we're probably in the market for another left-back. I don't know if that's the case, not entirely sure, but I suspect we are. I look at Ben Johnson as a squad player. And when I say a squad player, I don't mean that to damn him with faint praise. I don't mean that to demean his ability. I think there'll be many times when Ben Johnson gets man of the match, and there were times last season when I thought he was outstanding. One of the fixtures against Sevilla, one of the fixtures against Olympique Lyonnais, I thought he was absolutely brilliant, to the manner born. But he's sort of cursed by being able to play in a couple of positions, so I think he'll be covering both left and right. Don't be surprised if we see Ben Johnson next season play as many times on the left as he does on the right. So there's a squad place up for grabs, and that's Ryan Fredericks. And you can sort of understand why Fredericks was allowed to leave. Now, Fredericks was a hell of an athlete. He was, well, I guess prodigiously gifted in terms of his athletic talents, but what did let him down was his footballing technique, was his first touch, his dribbling, and his passing. His crossing could be hit and miss, but the first touch in particular would get him into trouble. And, well, Harrison Ashby's got no such problems at all. He's a very, very intelligent footballer, clearly works really hard on his technique, and you know what? He ain't too shabby in terms of pace either. He's pretty quick. What was evident, and every time I've seen him, is he's not only his ability to get forwards and provide crosses, but his determination to do so. He actually wants to help complement the attack. Now, in many respects, Dawson playing just inside him was the perfect foil, because obviously you've got the experienced player who was going to sort of help talk him through. But I'm not going to criticise David Moyes at all. David Moyes has obviously got his plan for the season, and I've already said I think we'll have another good season. I think we'll be there or thereabouts where we've been for the last couple of seasons in the Premier League. I've got no reason to think otherwise. The manager's really, really good at that. But he does like a player with experience, and we understand that, but I do believe that he should, because he's gained this reputation, Moyes, of not bringing players through. I do believe it's time for us to bring another one through, particularly if you got a squad of sort of 25 that you have to use. I know they don't all have to be registered, but another young player in there I think is probably quite important. I think Harrison Ashby is the one. There were a lot of players who played against, is it Servette? I can't even, let's just call them Servette, shall we? There were a number of players who played and played well. I think what was quite telling was that pretty much, I think Elise played the full match. I think he did. And Coventry did, and Ashby did. I think that's quite telling. I think that's Moyes saying these are the guys most likely to break through. That being said, I do not expect Elise to break through for all the reasons that I've already said before. Coventry, well, he's going to have to be a little bit disappointed by Downs coming in, isn't he? Really, that's certainly going to put a little roadblock in his path to the first team. That being said, I thought he looked neat and tidy in possession. Something's got to give. Something's got to happen. Moyes either got to include him in the squad, or send him out on loan again, or sell him. One thing that has impressed, well, I say impressed, it's not impressive, he's just grown, basically. I'm impressed, he's grown. Well done, lad. Watched him last pre-season, very good last pre-season. Watched him in this pre-season, he looks significantly bigger. I thought it was pretty good, actually, when Ekwa came on. In the second half, I thought they combined really well. Ekwa looks a decent player, but all of these players, and I would include, the guy's name escapes me. Let me just put my glasses on. Mubama scored a goal. At least they scored a goal. Mubama scored a goal. Mubama doesn't look ready yet, but he looks like he possibly could be a good player. Yeah, he had a really good chance, tried to sort of... I'm talking about a back-heeled goal, I'm talking where he sort of tried to curl it in. Longello, again, looks decent enough, but the one standout player out of all of them is Ashby. Ashby looks ready. He really does. He's as good a... I think he's as good a product as we've got. Chester's came on. I'll bet Moyes is looking at them and thinking, I need you ready to go now. And basically, he looked like the only one. Lanzini, I thought was, he was the best player on the pitch, I thought, up until the point he went on. And such a graceful, elegant player. And the thing I love about Lanzini is that, aside from his playing style, he was clearly keen to come back to West Ham. A lot of time players go away, as I've mentioned before, on international duty. They give interviews to the local press, and they don't say the most flattering things about their home clubs. He did. He said, can't wait to get back to West Ham, see the lads, get back to the training ground. I think it's a really big season for Lanzini, and I think the same for Fornals as well, who I thought played well during the game, which is really, really good to see. I thought what was nice was Antonio looked fit. Nothing really happened for him, but as an exercise in terms of running around, it was really good to see. I was very impressed by that as well. Good to see Zuma come back and get on the pitch as well. Fabianski, it doesn't really matter what was going on with the goalkeepers. I mean, there was 4 goalkeepers in that squad, really. I'm not going to read too much into Fabianski playing. I do think Areola will be the main guy for this season. Cresswell was on the first half. It was Cresswell and Masuaku combining down the left. I mean, we don't really want to see that, do we? Let's be perfectly honest. I don't think it's a combination that's particularly fruitful down there. I'm sure needs must. I think you could argue we need 2 signings on that left-hand side, a left winger and a left back. We certainly need to at least get one there, that's for sure, because it just sort of lacks a little bit of fluidity. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to say. Okaflex, very direct, and he wants to do it all at pace. But I couldn't help but watch him in that particular appearance. And I'm sure Moyes watches... Well, we've heard this. Moyes does go and watch the under-23s. And I know Okaflex has played really, really well. I felt that he hung onto the ball for a little bit too long. And I was watching him do it because immediately he would go direct to try and skin a player and get into his running, and I would immediately think, yes, this is what David Moyes is going to want. This is the sort of thing he wants. And you know my criticism with Benrahma, who I do want to retain, by the way, for this season. I just don't want to see him playing on the left wing at all. My criticism of Benrahma when he plays on the left wing is he slows the game down. Because basically he's not generally quicker than his opponent. So he tries to slow the game down, stand the opponent up and try and trick his way past. And because of that, he probably seems a little bit indulgent on the ball and doesn't release the ball as quickly as he should. Played a great pass during this game, though. I think it was to Ashby, actually. He played a really good pass, Benrahma. But again, he wasn't playing left wing. He was playing more central at that point. But I looked at Okaflex and I thought, mate, you're hanging on to the ball too long, and Moyes will be watching this, and he does not want to see that. He won't want. So I hope that next time he gets a chance, he can probably, just look to maybe beat his player, then play the ball, play the pass, play the cross, do something. That's what Moyes wants to see. He's a meat and was going to say meat. He's a meat and two veg type of manager. You know, he's a no-nonsense manager. It's mostly veg, really, isn't it, after his bit of volunteer work doing vegetable delivery. Look, I don't read anything into these pre-season games. I really, really don't. But somebody made the point in the build-up show. Their season starts next week. They've already played a load of pre-season friendlies. So the opposition look very fit. And it's not like we looked completely knackered against them. So I think our core fitness is probably very good. But, you know, going back to the start of the video, Lanzini was the best player. So I think, my humble opinion. I think Lanzini was the best player. But aside from that, we learnt nothing new about Lanzini, but that's fine, he's there for fitness. I didn't really learn anything new about Harrison Ashby. However, I was incredibly impressed with what I saw from him, and I really do hope that we get to see him just a lot more this season, lots of him. And what I think is a really good sign for him is that David Moyes played him for the full 90 minutes.